Liquidation preferences critical to your success. Welcome to this course. My name is John Colley. I've been advising technology companies since 1998. Golly, that's nearly 21 years. Seems like an awfully long time, but in that time I've seen most things that are going on, and therefore I'm well aware of some of the critical issues that both founders and investors need to get on top of, and I can assure you liquidation preferences is definitely one of these. It is an absolutely critical issue which is presented normally at the time that term sheets are being negotiated. It's really important that the founders and any holders of common stock really understand what liquidation preferences are all about. Oh, and by the way, it's also quite useful for investors if they want to pull one over on the entrepreneur and the founders. So it's important that, frankly, both sides really understand what this issue is. Liquidation preferences, at their very essence, determine the distribution of proceeds between different classes of shareholders, particularly at the point where there is a downside scenario. So on exit, if there is a downside scenario, that's the time these tend to kick in. I'm going to explain all this in the course, but that is why it's so important, because they shape the distribution of that rich pie, or not so rich pie if it's a small one, to the different classes of shareholders. Now, in this course, I'm going to cover why they are important, exactly what liquidation preferences are, the difference, so you understand, between ordinary shares and preference shares. I've got a little section on UK investors involving the SEIS and EIS schemes, and why basically investors who are taking the advantages, the tax advantage of these schemes, find it difficult to benefit from liquidation preferences. I explain the different types of liquidation preferences and the times at which shareholders, preference shareholders, have rights of conversion into common stock and why they would want to do it. I also explain to you what dead zones are. Don't worry, it's got nothing to do with zombies, but it's a really important concept and you need to get your mind around it, because it's all about the interests between different types of shareholders. I talk about the security in future funding rounds, really important. I explain to you how liquidation preferences can affect your returns. And actually, I give you a little exercise that you can do and a little spreadsheet model that you can play with to show you exactly how these work. And finally, I discuss with you whether you should consider offering liquidation preferences to your investors. So there's a lot in this course, but it's really important to cover everything. The exercise with the spreadsheet shows you exactly how to do it. And I've also got a bonus for you, which is the audio book of the primary content of this course, so you can download it and listen to it offline, as it were. So a lot to cover. I've tried to keep it really tight and concise, but it is an issue you need to get your mind around. So if you are a founder or a common stockholder, the question I leave you with is, can you afford not to take this course? Liquidation preferences, they really are critical to your success.